Welcome to Asian E Endurance Series Season 2 interview segment. I'm your host, Zachary Moselle. Today, we'll be talking to
Naquib Azlan.
Who is Naquib Aslan?
Who is Naquib Azlan? Wow, that's a big question. He's 20 years old, from Malaysia, and he has a huge passion for cars and motorsports. And it started all the way in the early days, actually, really young. I think I was like 1 year old when I first got into a car and just like sat on the seat holding the steering wheel. I kind of knew what I wanted to do.
So when did you first started e-racing?
So that's a difficult question to answer, I think, because I started playing games as always, kids do. Kids play games, and for me, the only game I played off was racing. So it started really early on, back to the PlayStation 2, I think, playing Gran Turismo. But I actually only started competitive racing really last year. Started actually joining competitions, but yeah, ever since then, it's just grown to be even bigger than I could have ever imagined.
Do you have any real-time race experience before the pandemic?
Yeah, so I was lucky enough so that once I started sim racing last year, I thankfully built a good enough image of myself, and got called up by Toyota Gazoo Racing Malaysia to be in their young talent development program. And this year, at the end of March, I think we had our first race, and yeah, thankfully got the double win as well. So I think it was a good race experience, a dream come true. Always wanted to be a racing driver, and thankfully the dream actually went out well.
How would you describe right now? In two minds, if someone says, "Hey, let's go back to actual racing," would you forsake e-racing, or you try to like maintain this harmonious balance between two?
I think I mean, 100%, I'm really sad that we can't go back on track for now because of the situation, but I think I have to understand as well that I came from sim racing, so you can never forget your roots, as someone would say. So yeah, I would always, I think, remain a harmonious balance between sim racing and real life racing, especially because the sim racing scene has, increased monumentally in the recent times. People are really starting to take it seriously now, and even the real life, racing, such as the GT World Challenge, is implementing sim racing into their championship. And I think that's a big sign and a good sign for all of us sim racers, who have dreams of becoming real racing drivers and having a platform to achieve that dream.
Who is older,
Right.
you or your brother Nabil?
Oh,
Let me guess. Hmm.
uh, it's a good guess, but I think people always get it wrong. I'm the older one, actually.
Ah,
People would always mistaken Nabil to be the older one because of my young-ish looking face. But yeah, I'm the older one by 2 years.
wow, 2 years. Okay, you had to share your secret of your youth to your brother, but no, he looks just as young. I mean, all of us look young. Well, and I won't say for all.
Yeah, all of us. Yes, definitely all of us.
Who do you think among the brothers is the better driver?
Yikes. Oh,
Not for long.
Who? I think it's difficult to say. You're only as good as your previous race. So if you look at the AeES Championship right now, people would say he's better. In my in my belief, I believe I am the better driver. So it's always up for debate. I think you can never put a finger on who is better. So at the end of the day, it all comes to on the track, and who performs better on track at that time.
Now, another question I'd like to ask you: in your opinion,
Right.
who would you name or rank as the top Malaysian e-racers?
It's very difficult to say because especially in sim racing, there's always specialists in certain type of sim. So you got the GT Sports specialist, you have the F1 specialist, the GT3 specialist, and whatnot. So it's always difficult to say who is the best in Malaysia. But ultimately, I like to believe that I am the best. But again, unlike like I said earlier, unless proven on track otherwise, you'll never be able to tell who is the best. So at the end of the day, all my talking is going to be done on track, not much I'm going to say off track.
What's your next goal for the next maybe 2-3 years?
Yeah, I think everyone, to excel in life will need to have goals, and I'm no different. So yeah, after achieving that goal of becoming champion in an Asian Pacific region, I think the next goal would be, European level or even international level, being a world champion. That's going to be probably the next task ahead. Obviously, it won't be easy, especially with the amount of championships there are and the amount of top class drivers, in the whole world, let alone Asia. So I think it's going to be a difficult, but why would goal be ever easy, right? So
Because if
exactly.
it's easy, then where's the fun in that? Do you belong to like any team, or do you have like sponsors, or if you have any messages, what would you like to convey this message to everyone?
So like the teams, like the shirt shows, I'm in the AeES Sports team under the founder of Alex Young. We do the endurance races in R Factor 2. We found some success there, claiming a few wins here and there, few pole positions, so it's going well there. But I'm not really fully attached to a team because I like to keep my options open. So like in the recent E1 championship, I drove for Stratos Motorsports, which is a karting team who delved into sim racing as well. In that championship, again did decently well. So and in real life, it's gonna be Toyota Gazoo Racing. But other than that, I'm not fully entitled to a team other than Axel and Toyota.
How did you find out about the Asian Endurance Series?
I actually took part in the first season when we had the TCR cars. I mean, not like this
Exactly.
season
You
is
and
any
your brother
different.
went missing. Two came, two left. So what happened? Then we heard like
Yeah, that
some
was
technical issue. I'm not too sure about the story. Maybe you want to fill us in on that.
no. I mean, it's not really a deep story. I think we came into the excitement of it being on race room and TCR cars. So it's a platform that I've not raced yet, TCR cars. So I was intrigued to join in the first season, but unfortunately, my schedule just got way too packed with all the racing that I was doing at that time. So unfortunately, couldn't have completed the season. I think Nabil did more races than me, and this season as well. Again, coming in, I heard the new season was coming. I was like, oh, okay, another opportunity, and bam, again, packed her with schedules. But thankfully, last round I could take part, and ultimately I would have liked to perform better, but you have to start somewhere, and hopefully we can make improvements from next rounds to come.
In round three, for the first race, you came in the eighth position. Then something happened in race two. You were
Hmm.
disqualified. Then
Yeah.
then voila! In race three, you pull your way back and you did fantastic and you clinched the third position. What happened in race two?
So race two, I mean, TCR cars is always inviting for contact between each other with
Come
their
come hit me.
body room. No, it's not called blaming. TCR cars, they provide good racing, which is what fans want. They want racing, and ultimately sometimes body contact has to happen, and TCR cars can allow that. But unfortunately, in Bathurst, it went a bit too far for me, unfortunately, so got a bit taken out. But at the end of the day, I think in race three, I still got to be up there and showed that I had the pace to fight up front, which is good for not only me, but other competitors as well. To say that I'm still here. So hopefully next round I can be up there again.
What do you find different between like AES endurance platform and other platforms that you've driven?
What I find is that you have there's a much more variety of drivers in this one. There's really good drivers like Alif, Jack Tin Chung, who saw really stormed the field last time. And you also have the almost newcomers who is just starting into sim racing, which is really great. Promoting sim racing to new people is always good to bring new people in because they always had the passion but probably have not the knowledge of how to join, so it's always good. But that's when you have that's for as a driver, that's when you put your experience into play trying to figure out how to take different drivers in different circumstances. So it was interesting to see that. Yeah.
Do you personally find AES challenging?
I wouldn't say it's particularly challenging compared to other championships that I've done. I think all of them have a different level. I mean, different type of challenges, and I think AES is no different. But that doesn't mean it's a difficult thing to do. All you have to do is just register and practice well enough to do well in the races. And I think what AES is doing right now is quite good. Having the sprint races, so the short races, and also the 30-minute races where there's going to be a pit stop involved. So it takes a lot of practice and strategy calls to make the best out of your race.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows, man? I think those who like endurances may miss out on the mental stress that you get during endurance races.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, that's different challenges. I think in endurances is a bit more relaxed in terms of driving because it's less intense due to the long hours of driving. And in the races that AES doing right now, which are the sprint combined with the 30-minute races, a lot more intense and it is a lot more on track battles. And I think that's what fans want to see. So I don't think it's anything wrong in any way, shape, or form.
How does it feel to be crowned the new champion of Asia's e-racing GP? Whew.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that was a really long time coming. I mean, we've been going through 5 seasons of that actually. I've been second in the championship 3 times, which is a very painful. But yeah, at the end of the day, fifth time coming, I finally did it, and it's a big relief of me to finally be able to clinch that championship. It was against really top drivers. I think drivers like Josh Berwin, who is in this AES championship. So yeah, I think it
That's
was.
amazing. I heard that you started off, you were somewhere in the eighth position and you just needed to get to the top three. Josh really made it that difficult for you. But towards the end, as you started to close the gap, I think you could see that light at the end of the tunnel and say, hey, look, there is a chance here for me to win this and win this big. And you went all
Yep.
out and well, congratulations to you. That was excellent, excellent piece of work.
Yes, yeah, that final race is a tough one. Josh gave it all he could, and he drove really well. So it took a lot out of me to be able to clinch it, and thankfully we managed to do it this time.
Our next race is quite interesting. Round four. It is the
I've
second
heard.
of our mystery circuit challenge. But will we be seeing you there on the 4th of July?
100%. Yes, 100%. I really enjoyed, taking part in the previous rounds. So I don't think there's any reason why not to do the next round. Only if you could probably hint on what the track and car might
Nah,
be.
I can't say. They won't tell
Okay.
me. So they say, see, we
Okay.
don't tell you. You can't spill the beans, so you are safe. What would be your pearls of wisdom to a newcomer?
I think my probably advice to them is just to keep on keep on pushing. I think it's very easy to be demoralized when you started. First when your first day into sim racing, you look at your lap times and you're like, what, 2-3 seconds off. That's perfectly normal. It's people. The beauty about sim racing is that you gain with experience, and experience comes with practice. So the more you practice, the faster you're going to be. So I think everyone that tries sim racing, they have to understand that it takes time to get fast, and once you get past that mind, that difficulty, that challenge in you, you just got to put in the effort, put in the time, and eventually you'll get there. So my word of advice is take it seriously, and that's when how you move forward.
All right. Thank you so much, Nakib, for your time. I know you're very busy, but
No
I really
worries.
appreciate the opportunity to speak with you, and hope our viewers also will enjoy knowing more about you, the famous Azlan brothers, which we'll see hopefully on 4th of July. Stay safe, take care, and yes, we'll see you on the
Yep.
racetrack.
Thank you.
Right.
See you
You
soon.
take
Yeah.
care. Thank you so much. Cheers.